All right. It is
What up, bro?
9:20 on Thursday night, June 23rd. What's up, everybody? It's Tyler with Hook Sets Are Free here with Matt from South Jersey Fisherman 028. How you doing, Matt?
23rd. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, mute that business. Well, what's up, dude? How you doing?
What up? Nothing much.
Looks like the chat is already popping off. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Frank, 2 more sleeps until bass season opens up for us? Whoa.
Probably Canada.
You must live way north, dude. That's rough stuff if you haven't been fishing for bass.
Oh,
Yeah,
man. Forgot to change the light bulb.
it's all good. Or you can
Nah,
change it
nah,
while
I
we're
need
live
to.
if you want.
I can.
All right, I'll take you off for a second. How about that?
Yeah.
Boom, shakalaka. Well, Frank, I hope you're looking forward to catching some basses, dude. I got on them last night, so I'll tell you guys about that in a few minutes once I greet all of you guys. Whether you're live right now or you're watching on the replay after this is posted, do me a quick favor and hit that thumbs up button. John Smith, what's up, dude? Daniel T in the house, my man. How you doing? My moderator. Tom Mix, what's up, dude?
All right.
Tim Maynard, how you doing tonight?
I'm good now.
Matt is back. Ooh, with the better lighting, my man. Nice. You know what, Daniel? I'm not always late to my own party. Get out of here. I have issues with my 4-year-old daughter not sleeping very well. So yeah, that's part of why I struggle to get down here at 9, sometimes even 9:15 is I'm struggling, right? I especially in the summertime. I put my kids to bed a little bit later than normal, so bedtime's more like 8 instead of 7:30. Especially because they're also getting older and it gets dark later, so that makes it more challenging. But nice of you to be rude, Daniel. So is it just like the 5 of you guys just popping off? G Fawn, Adam Odin, what's up, guys? Yo.
G Fun.
Mainstream Fishing, what's up, dude? Cool to see your picture, man. I don't know that you had that last time you were on. Right on. Adam says, question for the chat. Bead or no bead for Texas rig? Guess it protects your knot and creates some sound. Yeah, that's an option. In my opinion, a little bit more of a Carolina rig thing than a Texas rig thing. When I'm Texas rigging, and I'm throwing it weighted, I want it to slip in and out of cover with ease. In my opinion, a bead is just going to, especially if you're fishing around grass, which I frequently do, it's going to pick up grass. And so theoretically, if it was an unpegged Texas rig, it might make a little bit of that noise. Yes.
You called it.
What did I say, dude? I'm pulling myself out of the stream, and you can entertain these guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can highlight the comments or not, but if you can, why don't you talk about that beat on the Texas rig?
Yeah. I was actually gonna talk about it. What I really don't for me, I don't like putting a bead on the Texas rig specifically. Only reason why is because with the weight, and usually when you have really, if you want to get the bead to make that noise, you would have to have some space on that line or have the bobber stopper that a little bit up on the line. So as you're working it, it's going to clack on that glass bead over and over time, and sometimes it can cause issues with the bead cracking and then scuffing up your line and also your knot at the same time, unless you put something in front of the bead as well and then also on top. But I technically don't really like doing that. It's mainly, like Tyler said, it's something I use for Carolina rigging or I really don't even use them really. I use actually these Zapu chain cushions. I don't even use a bead. I use something else. It's like a little cushion that goes on the end of your, pretty much on the end of the hook after you tie the knot, so to keep the knot from getting messed up from the weight. So I really don't like doing that. So pretty much like that, it shows you in the back sort of, but it's pretty much the same concept as a bead.
So what was your general answer, yay or nay, on the
Nah,
bead?
I don't use it for Texas rig really. I just like you said, pretty much the same thing, Carolina rigging or something like that.
Yeah. Brass and glass is the name of the game with Carolina rig. But yeah, I like that streamlined profile of just having the weight right up tight to the bait if I'm trying to slip in and out. Otherwise, I unpeg when I can get away with it. I just find that you get a lot more versatility in how you can use and present the bait. And you can make it a little bit more erratic than you can when it's pegged. So, especially if you're using a buoyant soft plastic, I've noticed this a couple times this year so far, is that you can really bridge the gap between a Texas rig and a free rig better than you would think. Because that weight, if you pop the bait up, the weight's going to fall first and quite a bit faster than the bait, and it's going to hit. And if you're using a buoyant soft plastic, it's going to stop when the weight stops, and then you're actually sitting there with a leader like you're working a drop shot. And then as you move the weight, then that bait starts creeping up and getting closer, and eventually will be flush as if it's pegged. So that's a pretty cool deal that you can utilize, but I'm probably pegging like 60 or 70% of the time. Let me clarify.
I can't really do that where like I'm at too much. In some places I can't, like small lakes and stuff that have different types of grass, but in near the area where I'm at, where the Delaware's at, it has like that moss stuff, that real fine, clingy hair stuff. So when I have it like on with the weight just like free, it's really hard to like not get that stuck on the line. And literally every cast, you just have that shit on your line.
Yeah, for sure.
It's really a pain.
I hear you on that. Well, at least G-Fun caught my little joke. I mean, because I said, I'm pegging 75% of that. I don't peg or get pegged, because that's weird. And yay. But Ryan Dyke in the house. What's up, dude? Fish in the Southeast. How you doing tonight? Add a split ring to your Texas rig hook and tie to the ring. Gives a much better hookup ratio. Yeah, a ringed hooks are definitely underrated, especially on something like a fluke. You can buy hooks that are already, they come with a welded ring on them.
Yeah.
But obviously it's going to be a bit more expensive. You can make those yourself by using normal split rings. And I do that, but rarely if I'm using a weighted Texas rig, because then again, you get that gap in between the weight and the hook, and I like it to be flush. So to each their own, though. Sadie, do you want to say hi to everybody, or do you want to go to bed now that Brooklyn's in my bed too? Well, that's a huge bed. You guys can sleep on other sides of the bed, okay?
I know, but when my high school children don't need.
I'll just tell her that you want some space. Say, hey, I'll sleep better if I can have my own room. I'm gonna go back up, see. All right, Matt, tell them what the agenda is tonight, and I'll be back in 1 minute.
Pretty much, I'm just gonna be talking about like some baits I got from the hookup. Tyler also has a rod he was gonna show first, but pretty much just gonna do a unboxing of some stuff I got for the past 2 weeks from the hookup, and just show you guys pretty much what I got. Got some new stuff and a couple restocks of some baits I actually have used and got some feedback on. And I actually forgot the flatbed jig that I had already hooked up, but I guess I could show you guys, I guess, one of the baits. And so I did get a new Mega Bass. Not really new, it's just it came back, but the Live X 1 LBO in the fine art color. I'll take it out. But what I noticed though is that what's weird, let me take it out. And this bait's pretty cool. The pretty much whole point about it is the way that it's pretty much designed. It's supposed to have like a really, really tight rolling action, sort of like I'm about to show you. Is actually similar shape, and that's a fine art color. It's not zooming in. But the shape is pretty much similar to this Rooms bait, which is pretty interesting that I noticed that it's just a lot less pronounced, but very similar in the way that the body shape, except for the head on this, is a lot more larger, but it is also made out of balsa, so maybe it's a little bit, had to been a little bit more, larger due to that. But I'm wondering if it has that same sort of roll that this bait has. It has also that LBO system in it. It has a pretty long LBO system actually. And then like I said, this is meant for like rocks, and it's also sort of like a hybrid sort of bait. And like I said, it has a nice little bill on it. It has pretty much that goes to the pretty much the bait itself. And so it's not actually on the bottom and just has like a small lip to it. It's actually like pretty much like a mold, like the Lazy Ike sort of in a way. And then it's meant, like I said, to go from deep to shallow. So it's meant to go from like a deep sort of water to then come up the bank. And you can use it for grinding rocks. You can just regular retrieve it. You can also do sort of like a jerk type motion, but it's supposed to have a very tight wobble to it that sort of looks like a live sort of bait just fluttering through the water real quick. So hopefully that it would be pretty interesting to test out. And also it's supposed to be pretty good for, like I said, cover or brush. It's supposed to be pretty weedless, or that's what they say, and not snag up as much with that bill that it has. But it doesn't really go that deep. It only is 5 to 6 feet, but the bill looks like it could go deeper than that. But it's supposedly supposed to be a 5 to 6 feet bait. So
That's Mega Bass. What is that?
yeah, it's the Mega Bass Live X.
Okay.
The one.
Nice.
Yeah.
They make those in multiple sizes and diving depths.
Well, this
Really
is the
just
first
diving.
one that came out. I'm not sure if they have a 2 yet. This is the first one I think that they brought back, but I'm not sure if they do have a size 2. It doesn't say that they do on the back, because usually they'll say like a couple different models, but it doesn't say that.
Got it.
Nah, it doesn't.
So
But
looks like a few of us have something in common. Fishing the Southeast, you, me, we're all making orders at the hookup. It's hard not to. Like, they did a Father's Day sale, and I should have given you guys a heads up about, and maybe we briefly talked about it, but both Z-Man and Strike King had some like best of the year type of deals at Discount Tackle just over the weekend. So I apologize for not letting you guys in on that, informing you about that, but I should have. But regardless, the Hookup Tackle had some pretty cool deals, and one specifically being on rods that, depending on the value of the rod, they would include a gift card. So, spoiler, this is a lower end rod, so it fit into the category of under $150, I think. And so I got a $50 gift card. So essentially, I don't know what this thing retails for, about 140, 150 bucks. So got it for right around 100 bucks.
Nice too.
And it depends on how you look at it, right? Of course, I used that gift card and immediately placed an order. So I've got some tackle coming. And so the way I look at it, I got a couple of high-end crankbaits and a couple packs of a new soft plastic on the market that we will talk about on my next live stream. I guess I'm going to have to wait until Wednesday of next week to actually show you guys that stuff because I'm excited about it, and it was supposed to show up today. This rod showed up today, and the tackle did not. So it got delayed and is supposed to show up tomorrow. But I've got a bachelor party that I'm leaving for in the morning tomorrow. And so I'm going to be messed up and in the mountains tomorrow. I will not be available for a stream. I'll tell you that much. If somehow I show up on stream, it's because I'm blacked out.
Just randomly
up. But let's all hope that I don't do that. So let me get mine out of the way so that Matt can go through his. And depending on the length of the unboxings that we've got here, then we'll figure out what to do with the rest of the time. These rod sleeves can be...
Looks like a good rod too.
Yeah, dude. Real thick. I fully expect that this thing will be intact. I've never had an issue with a rod, knock on wood, but holy crap.
Is it taped on the other side?
Oh,
I think it's taped.
It could be. That makes me so nervous. Oh my god. The problem is it's so tall.
It's hard to rotate it.
This is a tall rod, so that's a minor spoiler alert for you as well. Matt, can you guess what it is? Nobody knows what this is, and it was a little bit impromptu, but
If it's a 150,
why don't you guess the kind of rod, knowing
swim bait rod?
What's that?
Swim bait rod?
Indeed. It is.
I'm trying to think of the brand because 150, I don't know which one is 150.
Well, I'm glad to have stumped you. Holy
Dobbins.
dude, this room is like 20 feet across, and I am right there between the rod at that wall and the tube touching that wall. That is bonkers. And this is just going to have to rest at my feet. So,
St. Croix.
St.
Bass X.
Croix Bass X. And so, there were a couple reasons I was interested in this rod. One, obviously, is the price point, but two is the fact that it's been updated, and specifically with input from the guys at the Hookup. So,
yeah,
I can't speak to all of the updates that were made to this line of rods, but if you look into it, you can see that there were a fair number of upgrades made to it.
The whole blank was actually changed.
Yeah, the way that it's like woven, and then the guides are different, and I mean literally everything. So I'm kind of excited about it because this was a relatively popular rod beforehand, and I think it had an okay reputation, but this is supposed to be good, and is one that I'm pretty excited about. So you guys know that I've been using the Uh,
Dobbins.
the Dobbins Fury, $7.95, right? So it's a 7'9", medium heavy fast. And it's rated for lures 1 to 4 ounces, which 1 to 5. Really,
I would throw.
its sweet spot is in the 2 to 3.
Yeah, I agree.
So for me, that has handled pretty much everything I've needed it for. But there are a couple of baits that I've got that really begin to push its limit.
Yeah.
And even that Slide Swimmer 175 feels a little bit heavy. And I want to say it's probably only 2.5 ounces. It's not insanely heavy, but I don't feel like I can really sling it out there with full confidence. Now it is on straight fluorocarbon, so I'm never too worried about it. But you know, like the 8-inch HUD, what did I just get?
That Duo Ninja.
No, these two baits are not big enough, heavy enough.
The pop-up or something.
The 8-inch mag draft I just picked up will go well on that. You know, some of these bigger 10-inch baits from Weston will go good on that. You know, even like the full-size Gantarelle and a handful of other baits that I've got will be better suited on this rod here. So as you can see, it's got a really long grip. Let's kind of see how these two compare, quite frankly.
Looks like it has
that is like exactly the same length.
Looks like it has a thicker handle.
Yeah, it doesn't taper, and it is a little bit thicker.
Yeah, I like that actually though.
I
like a thicker
I'm
handle
indifferent about it right now. You know, but with a swim bait rod, I certainly don't mind it being a little bit beefier.
And under your arm, you know, where it's sitting.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm tucking that bad boy under here, so I don't mind it being fatter, right?
Yeah.
No, maybe more like here. So this guy right here
looks nice.
See if we can get that light. I think this is a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, it is.
710?
710 now.
Extra heavy. Fast action. And this is rated 4 to 8 ounces, as you can see there. So this is going to be my big bait rod. And I don't foresee myself getting into giant baits anytime soon. You know, anything in that, you know, 8
I wonder if it's
what's that?
I said I'm wondering if it's a softer type of blank since it's an extra heavy and it's only rated for like a 4 to 8. Because
well, typically speaking, St. Croix does run light, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's just that. But yeah, this St. Croix tend to be fairly soft. So yeah, I believe this is the heaviest model in their line, and again, it only runs 4 to 8 ounce baits. So I am curious. I'm just, while we're at it, I'm going to go ahead and
rig it up on the tip.
Just going to wind up my line and swap these reels. First, I'm going to take the reel off to feel the weight difference, if any, between the rods themselves.
Looks
I
thicker
feel
too.
comparable. I'd say the St. Croix even feels a hair heavier.
Yeah, it looks thicker, the blank.
Yeah. Yeah, not by much, but it is. Yeah,
It is
you can see
heavy.
that this blank, like the whole rod is thicker, but
Yeah.
both of these are fairly light rods for what they are. So I'm not terribly concerned about weight so much as I am balance. But taking a look at these guides, they apparently were supposed to have made these guides a little bit more friendly to using braid. So you'll see that these top guides, you're probably not going to see, are, it's really hard to get an angle, uh, are reinforced. It almost looks like the insert that is in them has like a metal coating that's going
On top.
to handle braid a little bit better. So I
Instead of
do
using
wonder about that.
guides.
I throw braid to a leader sometimes. And in fact, the rod that I'm going to put back, or the reel that I'm going to put back on the Fury, I initially had for this setup the entire time. And then I just happened to get a Tranks, and this has been just sitting on the back burner for a while. So this is the Daiwa Tatula 200. And I really like this reel. I like a as low profile of a reel as I can get away with for what will be appropriate. And this thing's got a really big spool on it, solid
Yeah,
drag,
for
but
200 size
the
reel,
handles
they're
are
big.
just not super big. So that's the one thing that can bother me sometimes. But
You can probably get a Go Mexis handle for it.
yeah, certainly could. So the other issue with this reel is it's a 7-3 gear ratio. So I find it a little bit hard to slow down on swim baits, where I've come to adopt a 7-speed reel with a majority of the applications that I use. I do use 6 speeds for cranking, and I prefer a slower reel for swim baits as well. So let's see here. This Tranks that I've got, I believe, is a 6, but it could be no. This is 5/8 to 1. So it's going to be a pretty big difference and a little bit of an adjustment period for me in using that 7-speed with that Fury 795. But this will be my big bait setup. Is the Tranks 300, just a straight 20-pound fluorocarbon. I may or may not change my mind on that, but with baits that are heavier, I would rather and do feel safer with just straight line on there. And I know you run copoly, but fluorocarbon, if I'm going straight line, is what I'm running to. Otherwise, I'd be throwing 65 or maybe even feel the need to go up to like 80-pound braid to then a 20-pound monofilament leader most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe fluorocarbon if I'm trying to run a swim bait a little bit deeper, but probably not most of the time. So yeah, this rod is one that I'm pretty excited about, especially at the price that I got it at. So I'll keep you guys posted about that. And while we're on the topic, real quick, of just giving you an update on rods, I have made a point to fish the Daiwa Aired X a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I went out fishing last night. I've now been to this like honey hole golf course pond that I've told you guys about before, how like I gotta jump the fence and sneak in. It's sketchy. And I've had one run in with the cops, like running down the fairway of that golf course. not ideal. But I haven't caught one fish in the 2 times I've been there, and I'm wondering if the HOA like did something to kill the
So
fish.
call the fish out.
Because they put signs up there either last year or the year before, and I know that neighbors don't like people fishing there, and it's weird to go there and not catch fish. Like usually, I can go and catch 10 to 20 fish in an hour or two, and it's a great fun place to go catch late night fish.
Yeah.
But that was dead, and so last night I went there. Like I changed up my presentations, and I thought I want to catch fish because I'm concerned that they weren't biting the first time that I went there, but I went with slightly more aggressive baits. Not even really. I threw a popper. I threw a wake bait, the Strike King KVD 2.5 wake. I threw a swim jig and one or two other things, and not a single fish. So last night I went with just 2 baits. I brought the Spro Rat 40 and a black and blue jackhammer. Like these are like my tried and true. They get bit. Just like if all else fails, I can go to those and I will catch fish. And I did not get bit. So I left after like 45 minutes, and I drove 20 minutes like opposite direction of my house to a place that's more of one of my regular spots. I usually night fish there a handful of times per year, and I proceed to whack them. I landed like 15 fish, and lost 4 or 5 others, 2 of which were at the bank. 3 were like while I was fighting the fish, they shook off or jumped and shook the bait. But yeah, I caught like 2 or 3 on the rat, and the rest were on the jackhammer. So I had that Aired X as my chatterbait setup. Now it's a medium heavy fast, so I will say that it fishes like it should, and not necessarily like a chatterbait rod should. So for me, it was a little bit fast for a chatterbait. It didn't have quite as much give. So what I could feel transmitting through the rod, vibration wise, as I'm reeling the bait, was a little bit more subtle at slower speeds than it ordinarily would be with what I typically use. That's more of like a moderate fast or even a moderate action type of rod. So that said, I was able to stick the fish, land the fish just fine. The rod is really well balanced, and I think it's going to be a really solid rod, especially for the money. You know, it's a $50 rod. I got it for whatever it was, $38, something insane, because it was 25% off during Black Friday. Right? But it did well. I am not mad about it. Would recommend it, especially if it's going to be your kind of do everything type of rod. I would prefer it for swim jigs over chatterbaits. I would prefer it for all things Texas rig, lighter jigs. You know, anything 3/8 and under. You could throw, you know, worms on it. You could spinner baits, perhaps. Little bit of everything. It could just be your standard medium heavy fast. But yes, Daniel, it is the 7.3 medium heavy. And I like it. Solid. So that's my initial impression after having caught a bunch of fish on it. It held up well, and feels good in the hand.
Kind of sounds like the Kuma rod that I had. That's like it's called the Stratus 5.
Yeah.
It's a cheap rod, but like I said, I've had it for like almost going on 2 years now, and I use it for like cranking, pretty much anything that has like a treble bait, and it's less than like probably an ounce, and it literally works for all of them, like literally jerks, baits, cranks, um, really anything. Like I said, with top water, and it literally has the perfect bend to it, to where, like I said, I haven't had any issues with those baits or treble baits with it. And it's like I said, it's like $39, so
Yeah,
it's
that's a
pretty
hell of a
cheap.
deal.
Yeah, and like I said, it lasted me 2 years, and I've had more expensive rods that had guide issues and shit like that
Yeah.
sooner than that, and this rod was $39, and I haven't had any problems with it. So hopefully I don't, knock on wood. So
Yeah. I hate having guide issues. I'll just say that. I because of that, and for me, it's been two reasons that I've had guide issues. One is that I'm a little bit reckless, right? I've got the back seat of my car down, and I'm just shoving pre-rigged rods without sleeves on them just
yeah,
through the trunk and threading the needle up the middle of my car. So like bang bang,
yeah.
it happens, right? Unfortunately, I try to be somewhat careful, but it still happens. Like every couple times I go fishing, I'm bumping rods. But the other thing, which I think has made more of a difference, and I've talked about before, is running braid
Yeah,
on rods that have slightly subpar guides or guides that just aren't meant
that.
for that. And
Yeah,
it cracks the guides, and then all of a sudden you're
put too much
losing
force on
losing
them.
fish, losing baits, casting stuff off, and you don't realize until it's too late that that guide is screwed. So because of that, I've started running straight fluorocarbon like 75% of the time. I've
Yeah,
now only got braid on like 3 reels, whereas if you asked me 3 seasons ago, it was probably the opposite. I probably had straight fluoro on my cranking setup and one of my medium heavy setups. Otherwise, I was running braid to a leader like on everything.
yeah,
And now it's the other way around. I've got braid on my frogging setup. I've got braid on my old frogging setup that now I use as, for lighter swim baits or for heavier jigs, wobble heads, things like that. But I'm running fluoro at anything from 12 on my cranking setup to 14, 15, 16, and then up to 20. So yeah, I don't know.
yeah. I agree with that, but I use a lot of braid to floral or leader, whatever it is. But I've noticed that too. That I think that it was the braid and stuff. It was just too much force on the guides on those lower end rods or whatever rod it was, that the guides would just, over time, as you would keep setting the hook, that braid would put a lot more force and not have any stretch, and cause issues with the guides. And then also sometimes braided leader can cause issue with guides just on the casting alone, the knot constantly hitting the guides on the retrieve coming in, or sending them out. So it causes issues. Sometimes it grabs, or whenever, if you had a cast off or whatever, it keeps grabbing that guide and messing it up. So
Yeah. I don't know if Fish in the Southeast is talking to one of us or to someone in the chat, but I did get some of those collaboration
that's what I got too. I'm gonna show some.
in the 7.
Yeah,
I thought about getting like one of all of them, right? Because they make the VTS 7, the 5, and then the cram shad. Ultimately, I just went with 2 packs of the VTS 7 after I looked into them a little bit
that's
more.
what I got.
Dude, they look nasty.
I'll show you some in a second.
You watch those action videos, and
Yeah,
holy, like just on a straight retrieve,
That's
thing
how they're really meant to be used,
like
like a little shad.
I am pumped about that.
And that's what the Sakamata shads do, sort of the same thing, but just a little bit wider and not as narrow.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah, back
BTSs
6
are
inches
a lot
coming, dude.
softer. What happened?
I do have a pack of the 6-inch Sakamata shads coming too. Going big on the fluke style baits.
yeah, I'm telling you, they work. And let me I guess I'm starting with the hard baits I got. I got pretty much these are just two Shimano Bantams, the Macbeths. These are the 75s. They are actually pretty big. These are the 3-inch size, and I didn't even know they had 3-inch size. I thought they only.
I've noticed now that they make the Macbeth in a square bill and a flat side.
I got the
and
flat size.
And in multiple sizes. So this is the flat side?
No, this is the square bill version. The flat side is way smaller. Like, well, they also have a smaller square bill version of this one too, but this is the 75 version, and this one is a lot bigger than I was expecting, but it's actually a nice size bait. And the lip is also supposedly a hybrid style lip, square bill. It's supposed to have a more rounded out bill, and but also have thick. It's still pretty thick, so that it doesn't allow for the bill to break as easily when covering heavy cover. And that's what the bait was designed for, is to go through heavy cover and fish through heavy cover. So it allows that bill to last a little longer and not have as much issues with breaking off, or if you're wanting to grind that in really hard, it won't have that issues of that happening. And it deflects supposedly off cover a little bit better due to that bill that it has that's not too sharp.
Yeah.
That rounded out edge.
Nice.
So
yeah, I like that homemade look to them, both in shape and in the
that's
eyes.
what I liked about them too. And the Macbeth flat size that I have them in my other box that I have. Actually, I might have one in here. Let me see if I can get one. I might have it right here.
Yeah, I gotta say, with all of these rod, reel, and hook manufacturers now coming out with baits, Shimano has probably impressed me the most so far with just what they're putting out. Because these are pretty much all Japanese brands. I mean, at least when we're talking about Shimano, Daiwa, and Gamakatsu, at the very least, all putting out baits. So I gotta say, I definitely like what they're doing. Daiwa maybe kind of in the middle. The Gamakatsu stuff that I've seen so far, I'm like, meh, I don't know about that.
Yeah. The Shimano stuff, like I said, I like them. The Macbeths, I had pretty good success with them on the flat side version, and this one is the flat side, so you can see pretty much like the difference in size.
Holy,
yeah,
damn,
yeah, it's massive. And like I said, this is a shallow square bill. It's not meant to go deep. It's only 3 to 5 feet, so
right.
It's still a big profile for small, shallow water.
So what do you compare that to size-wise? I mean, do you have another bait there for reference that is the same size that we might be familiar with?
No. I mean, I do have. Yeah, I guess I got a Lucky Craft. This is a Lucky Craft, the 1.5.
So maybe it's more of like a traditional 2.5 size bait.
I would say maybe. Actually, I do have a Lucky Craft. The 2.5 BDS, 2.2, whatever. Yeah, this is a BDS 2 right here, and it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah, definitely still bigger.
Yeah, so I would say it is a 3, a legit 3 size bait, 3-inch,
Yeah.
And then, like I said, I also have the Pro Blue color. But the flat sides are very nice. Like I said, it has like an old school look to them, and has those painted eyes. And then the shape on it alone is pretty nice too. And then it has that casting system.
And now those are plastic baits, right?
Yeah. They look like they're wood, but
they look like balsa baits.
Yeah, I think that's their like the style that they were looking for, is to make like a plastic balsa style bait, and it does work like that too in the water. It has a real nice wobble to it, and this bait too, you can like some flat sides that are balsa, when you're cranking them and you stop, you can jerk them and they'll actually like glide side to side. You'll get sort of like that look back action where the bait will look back, and then you can just start cranking again. And it's pretty nice, and it has that spring casting system just like the other like the World Minnow or whatever the hell that thing's called. So it's very weird. You don't even feel it. Like you need to really cast hard to feel that casting system, since it's locked onto like a spring. It's not actually like the LBO or anything like that. It's so when you actually whacking that down, it's really just the weight wanting to go to the center, but then it actually comes back even before it hits the water.
Right.
It's mid-air already.
Rebound.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So it's pretty much just to get the force of the bait to just go straight instead of, wanting to catch in the wind.
Yeah.
That's really what it's for, not to really keep it, face going straight, with the weight on the back and allowing to let that weight to just completely transfer like the LBO. It just more or less keeps the bait straight and casting, that way, versus using the weight to completely transfer the weight to the back of the bait and cast it that way.
Right. Yeah, it was interesting to see the inside of the World Minnow in slightly better lighting, and see just how it's attached, and see that the way that foil just like rolls. It's a pretty wild system, but very cool. That's a sweet little transparent color.
Yeah, it's a Pro Blue.
Extra Pro. A little bit of blue.
Yeah.
It's like almost straight clear. It's just a hint of fog on there, huh?
Yeah, it's very light. Like if I put it in front of my face, you can't see my face, but like really, if you put it up to the light, you definitely can see through it.
Oh yeah.
And it's got this very fine flake, like greenish flake in it that you can't really see.
Yep. Can't really see it.
Yeah, it's not zooming tonight. My damn light.
Everybody's like, we good.
But
By the way, sorry that I look so scruffy. Next week I will be.
I'm the same right now.
I don't know if I'm going to be clean shaven or if I'm just going to be trimmed, but I'm also going to have a haircut.
I get rid of my beard.
I'm in that wedding next weekend.
But pretty much like I said, I'll read the back. It says the hybrid Edge C square bill on the back. It kind of it doesn't have any Japanese. But
what?
It's called the hybrid edge square bill. It says by combing two different bill types, Shimano is able to achieve bow fishing enticing actions and durability. The precision cut edge creates a fast wobbling rolling action, while the overall thickness of the increases to improve durability against heavy cover. Together, they create a unique blend of vibration, reflection, and total body movement inside aggressive bites. But it doesn't have, like I said, any sort of casting system or anything. So it's similar to like the Evoke in a way, where it has that weight as far to the bottom as it can get. So it'll probably have that real hard thumping wide like wobble action, but not have any sort of, like I said, casting system in it, but still have a pretty good castability. And then also it has that large air chamber inside the bait, where it's going to capture a lot of air and probably be, pretty buoyant, and also help with, cranking your cover. So that should be interesting to see.
Now that everything that was on the back of the package makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Because it's really the balance between vibration and deflection. But what two bills are they saying that that's a mix of?
It's saying it's by combing two different types. It really just says the
A
hybrid
square
has.
bill and a what now, though?
That's what I'm wondering too. By combing two different bill types.
Because it's not even close to a round bill. Let's be honest. I mean, we're
Yeah,
not like this is not a BDS bill at all, right? I mean, the BDS you can see like has that rounded. Yeah, we both got them. Like this is
so
a
maybe
true hybrid bill, but not as much of a square bill. So from a deflection standpoint, not quite going to be as effective. Whereas that one you just showed looks like it is going to be a good deflector, but perhaps just those rounded off edges of the square are going to give it a slightly different vibration, allow it to deflect. I don't know, maybe a little bit more with some roll as opposed to climb over. I don't know.
yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have as sharp of edges as some of my other ones do, like the Lucky Craft and this Sixth Sense bill, which is a lot more narrower.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at this massive pile and see, it's a little bit closer to like this balsa, the Bagley.
Reminds me, yeah, like a Zoom or Bagley old or like a Balsa, the black labels,
Yeah, this is the Bagley.
and that's the Lucky.
You can see it's got those rounded corners. Still a square bill, but
Yeah,
anyway, let's move on.
and they're really heavy actually, for that size. The smaller sizes are a lot of them are sold out, so that's the reason why I got those. But I said, hey, I don't really have that many big, large cranks like that, square
Yeah.
bill wise. So I wanted to try that. And I did actually have a bait that was something similar to that, and it was like the Mibro Warlock, and I went to test it out, and I didn't use it for like a month or 2 months. I haven't used it or anything. I had it for that long, and I was like, oh, let me try it out. I put on my damn line. Everything was pretty much brand new. I had tied a new damn knot, everything. And then right as I'm about to cast, and I was like, oh, a couple of days before that on a stream, I was like, yeah, I don't have issues with casting my baits off that much. And then literally I go to cast this fucking bait, and it ends up just slinging right off. One time cranking in the water. I was like, damn, I didn't even get to test this damn bait.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I was like, how the hell did that happen? And I look at my reel, and it's like all messed up. And I'm like, where the hell did this bird's nest come from? And I was like, what the hell? And literally, I think what it was is that I was so rushing and trying to mess with stuff that when I was tying the new knot, the spool was like free spooled, and I think it was moving a little bit, and it caused like the line to like wrap. And then what happened was when I connected the thing and then was about to cast it, I didn't look at it. And as
So
I
it
cast,
was like already pre-birds nested for you.
yeah, like it was
Just
already,
like set up to fail.
yeah.
Right when you cast, sling.
That's
Go on.
exactly what happened. And I was like, dude. And I saw this thing floating away, and I was like, dude, I tried, casting towards it to get it, and I couldn't get it. It was too far away. Kind of sucked. But it would look like a good bait, and it had, it was a good color I had and everything, but I didn't even get to test it out or nothing. I was actually trying to test it, really is what I was trying to do, but I couldn't even do that. But this is the next bait I got, which is the Amakatsu.
Real quick, Tom, I
3
don't think that last bait had a circuit board, dude. That wasn't that a polycarbonate bill?
Are you talking about like on this? Yeah, this is polycarbonate.
Yeah.
I'm thinking he's saying the comparison, I guess, maybe like something like that. But I'm not sure.
Well, no, the blending of two lips. I mean, is it a thinner polycarbonate?
Oh no, it's thick. It's meant to be thick so that it doesn't break.
Right. So I don't know what two bills they're trying to blend, but who cares?
Yeah.
Move on. So what bait is that?
This one right here is called the 3DR. It's the Amakatsu bait. It's a new shallow crankbait that they kind of put out, and it's pretty much doesn't go like any deeper than 20 inches. So the whole purpose behind it is to like fish where like grass and shallow water's at, and fish where the fish are looking up towards the bait.
Nice.
And not completely like having the bait right next to them.
Yeah.
So it's for that purpose, but it's not a big profile bait, and it runs, like I said, very shallow, and it's supposed to have like a very nice like rolling action to it.
20 inches is very specific. Why not just say 1 to 2 feet?
I don't know. That's what it says on the damn thing. I don't know. The damn on the website it says like 20 inches it's supposed to go, but who knows why they didn't make
color pattern too.
But it has that 3D printed color pattern on it or paint job, and so they have like hyper realistic look to them.
Yeah, everybody's doing that these days, right? That looks a lot like this color pattern.
Yeah, this literally I just got it because it looks like a little baby striper.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, you know what? I'm sure these damn bass in the Delaware are eating baby stripers, or white perch. White perch look just like this too, and they're babies. And so, that's why I got it. But the lip is very tiny. It's not big at all.
And that's mostly a round bill?
Yeah, it looks like, it has a round bill to it. It's like, has a very small flat bottom to it, but not much.
Yeah. That looks kind of like a hybrid bill, but looks cool.
Yeah.
John says it comes with BKK hooks. Is that right?
It is a circuit board lip, so it should, allow to get more like a little tiny thump.
Does that have BKK hooks on it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, there comes with these are looks like the spears. Yeah, those are spears. Which are the ones I have, and they're pretty good hooks.
Right on. Someone just said mainstream fishing. Almost went swimming for a 6 cents crank tonight. And then said, I'm 6'5", probably could have walked to it for real. I got in the water last night. I hooked up with a fish, and it's pulling drag. And I'm like, oh shit, this is the big fish. Here we go. Yes. And like I am convinced this is a big fish. Oh, there's the BKK. Yeah. And so I loosen up my drag, and the thing's pulling, and I can tell it's getting close to me. But then all of a sudden, it feels like it gets hung like under a log or a rock or something. I'm like, oh no. And then I realized, like, wait a second. I like just give it slack, and it starts swimming. And I'm like, okay, sick. It's still on there. I start fighting it, and boom, it's stuck. And I'm like, what the hell? It didn't swim out of the tree or the what just happened here? Shouldn't I be landing this fish by now? And so eventually I get out my flashlight on my phone, and I see that the fish is on top of the water, and I'm snagged in someone else's line, which is hung up in the rocks, and it's like
the fish
out there. It's like I can touch it. So I grab my other rod, and I'm like fiddling with it, like come on, get out of there, and it's not happening. So I take my shoes off and I step in, and these rocks are just
sharp.
No, moss, dude.
No.
I am slipping there's not a clean place for me to go. So I'm like hands and feet in, holding my rod, just going one rock, and then I'm at both hands, like almost slipping, grab that fish, and I just start pulling. I'm like, please. And so
dude, that's so weird.
I had to unhook the fish and release it while I'm in the water, and then figure out this mess of line, and then turn around and like manage to get out of the water. It was insane.
I had something similar to that happen to me, but not where I had to go in. I had where freaking right where I was fishing at, where that damn culvert damn pipe stuff is at, that literally where the tide's coming in. I had caught a fish right by it, and then all of a sudden the fish started diving super hard, and then I'm pulling, but then my line started going into the tube, and I was like, yo, what the hell's happening? And my rod was bending, kept going and going, and I was like, oh shit, my shit's about to break. And I just started loosening up, and then all of a sudden I just started winding back in, and then all of a sudden I see the fish fly back out, and I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then all of a sudden the fish comes up and it's just floating, and I'm like, why am I not being able to get the fish out? And literally I see a ball of freaking, looks like grass, and I was like, how is this thing stuck on grass? And I'm pulling it, and it's really a ball of line, man. I'm talking about like it literally looked like grass. That's how much like balled up. And then I see a whopper plopper attached to it, and I'm like, of course, it's always the whopper plopper, man.
Why is it always the damn whopper plopper?
It always is, man.
It doesn't make sense.
And then literally my evoke is stuck to it, and I'm like, damn it. And then literally the fish is just floating there, so I just get my lip grippers, put on the fish, and then I'm hanging over this damn current thing, risking my life for an evoke. Yeah. And I'm like pulling this damn string out, and I had to literally bend my whole hook out on my evoke to just get it out. And I was like, damn, dude, how the hell is there that much shit there? And literally I ended up getting it out, and the fish was good, because I was like, dude, if I break this off, that fish is going to be stuck there, and then I won't be able to get it because it just be all the weird angle. And that spot is dangerous because, like I said, it's like a giant pipe, a drainage pipe, and it's like 3 feet wide, and literally the whole damn, it's pretty big, but it's not too big. But like I said, pretty much the Delaware is dumping into this damn pipe at like thousands of gallons a minute. And I remember back in the day sticking a damn stick in there, and literally it just snapped the whole log in half. And I was like, dude, I was like, screw that. And I'm surprised they don't put any sort of fencing or anything in front of it. And they don't. But literally, it's just, like I said, if you fall in there and it's going to outgoing tide where it's leaving, you do not want to be there, because, like I said, you fall forward in that damn thing, you're getting sucked up like a damn vacuum. Right. So it's kind of sketchy. Yeah.
I tried to get a video of it, but I couldn't figure out how to get the flash working on my phone. But I also caught a surprise Walter last night.
Oh, nice.
That's always cool. I mean, I
wouldn't have
a chatterbait, dude. Like,
oh wow,
I've caught them on swim baits and stuff. Maybe on a crankbait before, but I don't think they've eaten before. I've really only caught catfish on chatterbaits aside from bass. But yeah, that walleye was kind of a fun little surprise. Got those glowing eyes.
Like a damn ghost in the background.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even realize I got this comment still highlighted. What?
You got stuck.
Yeah, I noticed that we did that on one of our last streams. I don't know if it was on yours or on mine, but
I think it was mine.
Carl Fern, I don't think I addressed you yet, but how you doing tonight? Thanks for hanging out.
What up, Carol? Yeah, John, yeah.
Bank fishing's definitely more dangerous than people realize, especially if you can't swim. Well, you best be able to swim. You know, that's kind of a
what he said. You know, Japanese guys, they wear those little PFDs, waist PFDs, and over there they have some steep ass banks to where literally it'll go from a foot to like 20 feet deep. So you do not want to be falling in there and not know how to swim.
Yeah, I mean, if you're fishing from like legitimately sketchy areas where either there's a steep drop off, or more likely you're fishing from like a bridge or a cliff or something where you could fall a significant distance then into the water, that totally makes sense. But I didn't actually think about that until just now. But now that I'm reading it, I'm like, oh yeah, those dudes are wearing
Kimkin and
life jackets
wear it all the
time. Waists.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I think it's actually I'm not sure, but it might be like a rule or something or some law that they're supposed to wear that. It's like as if they're being in like a boat sort of thing over there. I'm not sure because like I said, I've seen like every single person I've watched that does JDM videos or they're in Japan, they all literally wear it from women to men
Right.
and everything.
Yeah, maybe it's just kind of a standard thing there. Like,
Yeah, that
you
could
know, it when monkey see, monkey do, right? All it takes
yeah,
is like a little bit of a wave of that becoming the standard. Like, yeah, it's just the right thing to do, and
yeah,
then all of a sudden, like everybody's doing it. You know?
yeah, that's true. And then yeah, but like this I got this Beeble here just a restock. It's just I ended up losing my other one, the green pumpkin one, so I ended up getting this one, and because they didn't have it in stock, the green pumpkin one, but this one I ended up getting because of the red, and
Little Rayburn red color.
yeah, it has a little red with a little orange on the neck, on the
Mm-hmm.
bottom. But I've been having some good luck with the red stuff or red crankbaits and stuff like that recently. So I've been giving a little bit more confidence with it or just trying it out a little bit more. Because before I thought it was more like a gimmick sort of thing. And but I've gotten more confident with it. And some of the baits that I've used this year had a decent amount of red in them, and I caught a good amount. And especially that it's called GP Spawn Killer and that Mega Bass bait. And
Yeah.
that one's like a clearish sort of red color, and that's getting bit. And then also another reason why I had got this, I'm not sure if my phone will show it, but it's all cracked the hell up, so don't mind that. But like I said, I actually had freed a little crawfish out. It was stuck. It was the craziest thing. It was weird. And I saw a little crawfish, and I was like, "Why is that crawfish on the edge of the bank?" And literally, it was a pretty big.
I saw that picture, dude. That is are you from California or what the hell? Show
Yeah,
it. That was the reddest
that's what
crawfish.
That's what I'm saying. And I was like, holy shit, that thing was like red. And I didn't even know they got that red here. And like I said, it was just stuck on some braid. And I was like, dude, what the hell? And I was like, see what fishing line does to these damn animals getting stuck in shit. And so I just ended up cutting the damn braid and freeing him out. And literally he just started moving back away. But he had like a little tiny a hole in the back, man, and literally he had like little red dots on him. It was pretty crazy. And then his bottom was all orange.
Yeah, I was
So
gonna say, I swear that's not the photo that I thought I saw. But either way, I can't help but think about wanting to throw red a little bit more as well, right? Like even in baits that are not necessarily supposed to be crawfish imitators, right? Of course, we throw crankbaits, chatterbaits, jigs to imitate craws. Nice.
he got the red dots all over its claw.
Yeah, you can't quite see that. Okay, so that is the photo I was thinking. Did you
Yeah.
send it to me on Instagram or where did
No,
I?
I have it on my Instagram on my profile. It's on my picture, the most recent one.
Okay.
It's on like the third photo.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't even know what type of crawl that is actually. I was trying to think of it and I couldn't even look it up. I actually didn't know which one it was. It wasn't a rusty crawl.
Oh, it's gonna look exactly the same.
It's hard to not see it without like looking at it on the camera.
Oh, look at that. There she is.
It was really interesting, man.
Yeah, I saw that and was like, no way they get that red out there. That's wild.
Yeah.
But it's like we've been hearing more, or maybe I just stumble into these videos, but um, there's been more talk about the studies that are done around what bass can see color wise, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprising to hear that not just the old, like what we used to hear about what colors disappear first at depths and things like that, but specifically the fact that they've got monochromatic, I think that dichromatic, I don't know what the hell I'm saying.
Monochromatic lenses in their eyes.
Maybe
Where they
it's,
only can see like certain colors.
yeah, chartreuse blends into the same family as white.
Yeah.
So, we think we're
And
swift throwing
black
white and chartreuse,
and black looks like red.
really it's all just the same color. But the point that I really took away from all of that is that the two colors that they see best
It's nice.
are red and green. And now I'm like, holy shit, watermelon red. No way. That's got to be the deal. No
Oh,
wonder people like that color. And it's like that just happened at the same time that I was whacking them on a watermelon red Z-Man finesse shads. Like I don't throw that color pattern very frequently. I default to green pumpkin,
yeah.
but it's interesting to think that watermelon red is a more true green than green pumpkin is, and with the red flake in there, that it's going to get their attention quite a bit quicker.
Yeah.
Now, as for whether it entices bites is a different story, but what it looks like, I find that interesting, right? Black and blue supposed to look the same to a bass. I was kind of surprised to hear that. So, of course, you can't believe everything you hear, and you still got to like what you like, So, if something looks cool to you and it gives you more confidence, then by all means, throw it, right? This black, blue, and chartreuse, I just like the look of it. Skirt's all messed up in this weed guard. These titanium weed guards that Picasso puts on their jigs.
Yeah.
Why is that not more of a regular thing that companies are doing?
I don't know. I mean, I've seen, Ryugi do that with their certain hooks they make with their
Yeah, Gamakatsu did it with one round ball
and the
jig.
wax.
No, it's a standard round ball jig that they just put out like a year ago, but they're really expensive. They're like $250, almost $3 a head, which just to me doesn't make sense. But it's this 4-strand titanium weed guard, and it is super. I mean, it's stiff without being too much, but it's really durable, and you can do a lot with just 4 strands on there. And
yeah, they're nice.
I really like them. Now, I don't love the shock blade as much as I do the jackhammer, so I just wish that more companies would do this, and I wish a jackhammer would come out with something like this, because then I would truly throw nothing but the jackhammer. But anyway, let's get off of colors and random stuff and back to a couple more of your baits. So the Beeble spinnerbait, why do you like that spinnerbait? Why get it back up?
I got another one because, like I said, the one I had got, I literally caught a fish within like a couple casts of the other one using it, and I caught like a nice like almost like 3.5 pound fish with it, and literally also the way that it vibrates in the water, you don't really see that with my other spinner baits. Like I said, it has that blade in the front, and it allows it to almost have like a scrounger chatterbait sort of like
It's got a little bit of like a.
It's very light. It's very like quiver side to side, but it doesn't have like a crazy like wide wobble to it. And then, like I said, you can burn this damn thing, and literally, it still doesn't want to come up. It'll still stay down. So it's really meant to be on like the bottom or closer to the bottom, and you can go super slow with it. And then if you do that, it barely moves. Like it would just be like almost like floating. And so
That
since it's grabbing that water with that front blade, it almost like kind of like pushes it up at the same time. So it's kind of weird. It
So
almost
you
kind of
think it
reacts.
stays down because of the blade or because of the way that it's weighted?
I think it's because of the blade, because if you look at the way it's angled, the blade has its face, it's like in an angle this way. So as you're pulling, it's one of pushing it down almost.
I see. Yeah,
So
it's creating like drag more than anything. That blade is fixed on the wire.
yeah,
It doesn't spin like the other ones.
no, it's completely fixed on. So it has like a little thing, see?
Oh, it's got holes on both sides.
Yeah. So it's gonna go like,
Oh,
and you can almost hear it like very,
yeah.
and that's what it'll do. And you'll hear like this faint thing in the water. If you bring it real fast past you, you hear like,
Hmm.
it makes like a little vibration. So it's nothing similar to like that loud of a chatterbait, but it's something there that you definitely aren't hearing with other,
Yeah.
species. And
No, I'm kind of surprised. I don't think there's anything else like that on the market, if I'm
it
not.
gives that spinnerbait a little bit of a shake, so that skirt is consistently moving a lot without having to like really move the rod like crazy. It just the blade literally vibrating and creating that skirt to like wave.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. And like I said, it's a pretty interesting design. The only issue I had, which I think was my fault, was I set the hook a little bit too hard. And this hook is very thin. It's not too thick, but it's not too thin either. It's actually a pretty good size, but it is a lighter gauge hook than most of my other spinnerbaits that I have. So it doesn't seem like you probably need too much force to really set the hook. But this little bead right here on the top that was right here kind of went inside the blade, but it ended up, see how it got like it kind of get stuck like that.
Yeah.
And so, and then if you just like release it, it's like a damn thing.
Oh, weird.
So it pops out. So I wish they could have made that pie a little bit bigger. I mean, smaller. That
Right. I mean, should you try to do something to either create some distance between the blade and that first bead or to
I was thinking
potentially
like
plug the hole, plug that top hole with like some super glue or epoxy or something to because it doesn't need to move along the
yeah,
wire.
just taking like maybe some like string or something or a braid and just tie like a knot right here to keep it from
Yeah.
completely going past that bead, just to keep some extra like width around it.
Well, so long as it's big enough that it's not going to slide right through that hole like the bead does, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Huh.
but I think that was also, like I said, something that I caused because I set the hook a little bit probably too hard and was kind of horsing them in. So
Right.
what I'm gonna do is just next time set the hook and just not try to horse them too hard. Just give them some at least play. Don't try to like lift them out of the damn water.
Right.
So, and that
Yeah.
fish was a pretty decent sized fish, and it was in current, so I'll give it a little bit of a break. So that's a decent amount of force being applied to it, and this is not a heavy, wire spinner. That wire is very, very thin. So
Yeah. Well, I don't know why I'm so mind blown, but it feels like that's a design that doesn't really exist, but should. Um,
yeah, I'm surprised
it's just
I
an
haven't.
alteration to make the bait run differently, put off a different vibration. Most people are just thinking along standard lines of like shape and size of blade, colors. But a spinner bait is a spinner bait, right? Um, it's only a matter of time until they make a chatterbait with an underspin, right? Just like they did with, Megabass did with the Uoze swimmer.
Yeah,
Uh, I like little, and I say little, but they're more significant um, innovations, if you will. That's a pretty cool idea.
And then this one, I think you're gonna like a lot or laugh at. It's kind of funny, but I had to get it just to try it out, just to see. But the bird popper,
Pull it out, dude.
that wood hand carved popper that is from the Hookup.
Yeah. Now, how much did you spend on that?
They're actually pretty cheap. It's $19.
Okay.
So it's not as bad as you would think, and it's because it's not really that big. But it's pretty much a, like I said, hand carved wood little bird.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Like I said, the wings are super soft. It's pretty interesting. I don't know what type of material that is, but it's like a very soft, like birdie like wing material. That's funny. And so, like I said, it just really was interesting. And it's not big, too. It's like a perfect small baby bird size. And
Right.
it's just literally like a little popper. So I was thinking of like working it right near like pretty much trees or brush that, are hanging over the water near this certain spot where I have tons and tons of redbirds at, or blackbirds, not redbirds. And like I said, and I just work it real fast, like a bird getting stuck in the water because they flap like crazy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that probably could work, and just constantly pop it real quick and act like a distressed bird in the water. And I think that would work,
Yeah.
But and also, just be fun to catch something on it.
Yeah.
And since, like I said, it wasn't a crazy price, and it had sold out the previous time real quick, and I was like, damn, I wanted to try that. And so this time it didn't sell out like that crazy. So, but it's
Look how thin that is at the neck, dude.
yeah,
Woo. That's pretty cool, though. And don't give up on it if that one way that you imagine working it
yeah,
doesn't pan out. I bet you on literally the opposite retrieve, just in a couple months from now, um, that they'll smoke it on a like super slow retrieve, just like they would, any other popper,
mm,
right? Um, because that's a unique profile. Like even from below, just the taper to it.
yeah. And like I was saying, I was thinking too, like you pop it and then just let it sit there where it'll float around, maybe because since
Yeah, and those wings will work for you as
yeah,
they're sitting there because it looks like they're relatively stiff the way that they're bowed out, but
yeah,
because it's still a somewhat hairy, feathery, something
yeah,
type of material, it's gonna mat up in the water and then have a little
I
bit
actually
of
haven't tried that. Yeah,
breathing type of action
it
to
does
it.
when it's wet.
So as you pause it after you pop it, it'll kind of those wings will do their own thing a little bit on the dead stick. So
Yeah,
work it both of those ways, but
should
yeah,
be.
definitely doesn't look like it's a walker.
No, no, no. Yeah, that's what when they showed it on the hookup, it literally just went straight. And that's why I was kind of thinking of that idea of, kind of going a little quick and then pause and then just let it
Yeah.
sit there for a second as like if the bird was drowning, and then just pop it a little bit more, sort of like that. But working near like cover or near wood or trees that are hanging over the water to imitate maybe a fallen bird or something. But I thought it was interesting. And, like I said, to use it and apply it to like certain specific situations or scenarios, not just anywhere to throw it out in the middle of nowhere. And but use it where there's consistent blackbirds around the area or a ton of them, and because bass do eat those babies because they're known blackbirds for some reason they're known their babies to fall in the water a lot. Some reason I don't know why. I guess maybe it is because they're near the water so much, so it is planned to happen. Sometimes the babies do fall out, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't think that too many, like a lot of bass would eat those. Probably the larger size bass would eat them, but that's probably, why I really wanted to try that, see if I get a bigger bite on it or maybe something different.
Yeah.
It says it's made for like pike or something too, or pickerel, but I wouldn't.
Definitely an interesting idea. Daniel, no, I was just talking generally, but more from a mainstream perspective. I'm sure that there are small makers out there that have a split ring attachment to the blade, which you guys know by now, I really don't like bladed jigs that the blade is attached to the head via split ring. But I think it's only a matter of time until Z-Man and other companies create a hybrid underspin chatterbait type of deal. I'm curious, has anybody seen more of that Berkeley
The chatterbait.
clobber knocker?
Yeah. Nah.
I did just see the little bit of that spoiler that was on Edwin Evers' YouTube video.
Yeah, I
But
saw a picture of it, but that's about it.
yeah, I mean, I think that picture was a screenshot from that video. It almost looks like a hollowed out head, as if you were fishing with a jackhammer and you lost the eyes on it. Like it looks a little funky. So
Huh.
I don't know. I wonder. Oh, Daniel's talking about the fish head primal vibe. I have that bait, and it's not that great, dude. And it is via split ring, so for what it's worth.
But yeah, I need to get into that chatterbait stuff, man. I still have not really fished.
How did I not think about that as the words were coming out of my mouth? There it is. But there it is, Daniel. Split ring.
Yeah.
No bueno. Okay.
Yeah, I really don't like the way it looks.
What's that?
I don't like the way it looks with the split ring.
Yeah, but it also just creates a very inconsistent
Action.
vibration where, when you start working the bait, it just has too much room to mess up and get caught or just be swinging all over the place before it gets into a rhythm of vibrating steadily. Whereas if it's a direct connect, you pull that thing and it just starts going right away. It's not good. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like any bladed jigs with split ring attachment.
Yeah, no. Mainstream Fishing said no chatterbait. No, I don't use chatterbaits that much.
This dude's nuts. That's been my fish catchingest bait the last 3 years. Great. And it's not going to be different this year.
But yeah, this is the BTSs.
Yes. Whip it out. Dude, those, don't they come 6 to a pack or something?
No, it's 5.
5 to a pack?
Yeah.
Still pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not
for what it is.
And they're not too crazy priced. And the one thing I was always surprised about is how DRT, their jigs are, cheap. It's weird. I never understood that. How the hell their jigs are cheaper than some of the U.S. brands? I don't understand.
Right. Yeah, I don't get that.
Like $5. I'm like, what? And
yeah, they could charge $12 and probably still sell a bunch of them.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. You get 2 for 1 randy jig.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so these, and the thing is too, is they don't come in the package like sometimes all completely straight, but they're still straight, which is pretty interesting. And they seem like a pretty soft plastic.
Oh yeah.
They're not. And so
that's what I like about that versus the 5. So show everybody the package again. This is the DRT Working Class Zero collaboration. Specifically that color, right? What's it called?
Joy Thief.
Oh, so it's the same color as this.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty much just in soft plastic.
Yeah, so it's just a, essentially a Pro Blue Red Pearl type of, but it's really just Pro Blue. There's no,
Yeah, it's like a Pro Blue. But then their Pro Blue is not even the same color.
Right. So anyway, that's the Joy Thief
And it has,
color,
yeah,
and that's the VTS 7.
yep, PTS 7.
How do
And
you
then
describe what that bait does?
and then this is, hold on, let me get this small one so you can see the difference.
Yeah, John, the 5 definitely looks more stiff. Like you're just going to use it slightly differently than you would with the 7.
Yeah, you can
I
use it similar, but it's not going to be the same in a completely. It's more or less like a ball head type of uh, fluke type bait, or like I said, with that cover hover shot type of bait hook. And so it's meant to be really just straight retrieved as well as this one too. And but it's meant to be used a little bit different, more or less like jerking or slowly lifting the rod very little at a time, and it causes the bait to just go like this. But at the same time, that tail will be wagging. So it does similar it does the same sort of swim, just a little bit less pronounced. It's not going to be as wide, so it's going to be a lot tighter. Like that back tail is just going to be like that, and this whole bait
Right.
will like wiggle
Yeah.
through the water. So,
Yeah, I mean they've got some interesting
but
underwater shots of those baits. All 3 of the DRT soft plastics. Um, and it's cool to see the way that they work. Now look at how different those color patterns look. I mean it's the same color name wise, but just poured. One looks that 5 looks a lot more purple.
no, I have this is a different color. This is the 5. This is a different color.
Oh, okay, okay.
This is a different one I got from the DRT website.
That's more of like just a straight shad color, not the
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. This one is I'm pretty sure it's Hasu. Yeah. So this is Hasu and this is Joy Thief.
But yeah, those underwater shots that they get of them, they're showing on a straight retrieve. They're showing on like a twitching fluke style retrieve.
Yeah.
They show it on like 3 or 4 different riggings, and that 7 really caught my eye because on a straight retrieve, moved fast.
And it's got like a
The thing is super wild. I mean, it looks like the tiny Clash does, where
when
it's
retrieve.
literally swimming like this, like wah 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 wah.
Yeah, and actually the transfer tail that you can get for the K9, it almost looks similar to this when it's swimming, but just in a soft plastic.
Yeah,
It's pretty interesting. And then also the shape of this is very like aerodynamic. It's like a dart. It's rounded out in the tip, like it looks like a damn pencil.
right.
And then it goes into like almost like a triangle. The back is wider
Yeah,
than the belly, and it goes to like a point.
yeah,
So it's almost like a dart, literally. And like I said, it should cut through the water very well. And that's probably why it allows the bait to swim on a straight retrieve, because the nose is very narrow. So it just cuts through the water. And that tail, since it's so thin, just, wobbles and grabs the water. And since it's a soft plastic, it probably allows that bait to just wobble.
And then what? Its thickest point on the back in terms of width, is probably right around where the hook is going to come out. So
Uh,
then the entire tail section of the
yeah,
bait
right.
is
So say this is where it allows you to rig the bait from here to here.
well, sure,
So
but let's just
say
say
if
you're
I
using like a
so say
6
if I,
aught
yeah,
hook or
say if
something.
I hold it right here, it's gonna be wiggling like that.
It starts to taper right from about where you're holding it, right?
Yeah, it
Where
starts.
you're squeezing it is where it's widest, probably.
Yeah, right about right here is about the widest it's gonna get right there, and then
Yeah,
it's right about here is where it starts to taper out and get thin.
yeah. Looks pretty cool.
But like I said, as this whole thing is moving, almost the whole entire bait moves just like that. And so it really wobbles, and it matters on the speed you're really retrieving it. The slower you retrieve, the less it's going to have. The faster, the more the body and parts and the whole thing starts to want to wobble like a fish. So, but they're a pretty cool size, and actually they're not as big as as I was thinking. They're actually a very good size. They're not
Yeah.
big at all.
Hey, Rich, don't worry about it. Thanks for stopping in for a second. Good luck
Yeah.
practicing tomorrow, dude. And good luck in your upcoming derby.
Yeah, good luck. But
Man's asking, does this 7-inch Sakamata Shad have more action than the VTS?
well, the 7-inch and the 8-inch one, they're gonna be a little bit more stiffer. So you're gonna have a lot more of like a wider swim to them. They're not gonna be as tight as the VTSs are. The VTS has like a more tighter swim to them.
Now, when you say tight swim, yeah, you mean on like a fluke style. If you're actually twitching the bait, like how far it's traveling.
No, I'm talking about on the straight retrieve. Like if
The
as it
Sakamata Shad's gonna swim wider.
yeah, it has like it's not as like if you look at that, look, I'm holding it's not even moving. Like that's stiff. So and that's a hook in it. So this one here is gonna have a lot more of like a wider wobble. Like as you're retrieving it, the VTS wants to stay like straight and just keep going, sort of like a 3-piece does. And if you can sort of say it like that, a 3-piece swim bait. And this is more gonna have like a wider, harder thumping to it. It's gonna have way more rigidity in the bait. So this is not gonna have that smooth of a swim to where it's just gonna be like wiggling like that. It's not going to do that. It's going to have a lot harder of a wobble since that plastic is a lot stiffer, and it seems like it's obviously a lot more dense due to the plastic difference and the difference in the tail. It's totally different. So it's going to have that flat tail versus the VTS, which has a flat tail on it and will wobble with less effort.
What size hook you got in that massive?
This is an 11-aught. Yeah.
No joke.
Yeah, but it's like a slugger worm, so it's like different. It's meant like for long worms, but it takes it fine.
Yep.
So.
Dang.
But like I said, it's gonna have a lot more stiffer wobble than the VTSs. And I think there is a couple videos that you can look up on the Sakamata Shad, swimming straight, and then you can compare it to the 7 or the VTS. And it seems like I said, like the depths will have like a wider wobble, and then the VTS will just have that tail wobbling. So.
Well, I'm gonna go grab a whiskey and a quick pee. Why don't you move on to the next bait, and I'll be right back.
I'll go to these plastics and all that. All right. All right. So this was actually something I won. I actually just put in here just to show you guys is that dark sleeper that I won from Gramps live stream. I was looking at it and it looks pretty interesting. I didn't get this one from the Hookup, but it's not a big bait, and the tail on it is pretty nice. It's very thin, a lot wider, bigger than the dark sleeper, and almost kind of reminds me of the Storm Wild Eye bluegill soft baits because it has a similar profile to it, and very, very similar. And it just has that hooks in the fin versus sticking out. But I also noticed that the fin has that little tiny plastic covering on the front, and when you push down on it, it kind of grabs a little bit on the fin, and then also it's hollow on that back part inside. Like if you spread the hook, it's actually hollow in there a little bit. So this top portion of the fin right here is pretty much hollow, so it collapses pretty much to allow that hook to be exposed. But I'm wondering if that fin will get in the way sometimes, like it is right now, pushing it back. But it seems like it goes through the skin, but it could obviously tear through the fin. But I don't think the fin really is meant to do really anything. I think it's just more aesthetics than anything. It's not going to really do too much of keeping the bait too weedless. Maybe for some green grass, maybe, or something like that. But if you use it near wood and if it flips or something, or if a stick grabs it, it'll definitely get hooked. So it's mainly probably more for like soft green grass or something like that. But I think this will excel near like little rocks or something like that, or fishing along the bank, or maybe near a current, on the edge of current. So that's what I'm gonna try it for and see how it does. But it's not too heavy or anything like that. The hook does seem pretty good. It seems sharp. But the plastic doesn't seem too, soft or anything like that, where it's like weak. Let me see, compared to the dark sleeper. Does feel softer than the dark sleeper plastic wise. So
What'd you get? What is that?
that's just the sleeper gill.
Nice.
I won from the Gramps show that I wanted to show them, but I didn't get to test it out yet. I was going to test it out, but it rained today. So hopefully I'll go tomorrow and see how it does. But it's definitely a nice little size. It's definitely like the size of the bluegill I see a lot of the bass in my area just munching on. So
Is that the 3-inch?
yeah, this is the 3/4 ounce size and
Gotta be 3.
3.2 inch.
Oh, 3.2.
Yeah.
Huh.
But it's still, small. I think it's still smaller than it's smaller than the sleeper, dark sleeper.
Yeah. But that's the big, either 3/4 or 1 ounce dark sleeper. That's
Yeah.
the big guy, right?
I think this is the half ounce one, I think.
No.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I think they only make the half ounce in a 3-inch, which would be more.
Wait, real quick. Let me see.
I'm gonna do a comparison video of
Yeah,
all 4 of them once I get the sleeper gill, which Discount Tackle is gonna send me 1 or 2 of them.
they look pretty good, and the tail is pretty thin too, and it's like three times or double the size at least. So it's gonna have a pretty nice thump to it.
I'm about to smoke myself out here. This is the 1792 full proof, 125 proof, if you can see down here. This is a cool barrel pick that my brother did. You can see beneath the char. And yeah, I've now got like 3 or 4 of my brother's barrel picks to work through, and I couldn't decide what to grab, but this one is wicked strong.
Looks like a nice bottle.
First tried it a couple months back when I was up in the mountains with my poker buddies.
Yeah.
Good night, Carol. Thanks for hanging out tonight. Yeah, and my brother's obviously a whiskey junkie. Brought like 20 bottles that weekend, and we were playing poker all night. Most of the dudes went to sleep at like 1:30 or 2. My high school buddy and I were up till 3 in the morning, and he's like, "Oh, let's just do a nightcap." I was like, "Okay, whatever." We're already hammered, and he's like, "You pick." I had no idea what I was doing. I grabbed that bottle,
Yeah.
and it was too much for either of us in the moment. We had to choke it down to finish it, and then like had this like bad image in our mind about it. It took another time or two of drinking this to like open our minds back up to the fact that this is probably still a good whiskey and
Yeah.
not just ridiculous, like too strong.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to get used to that, or at least maybe, first, get it in around your mouth and coat
Mhm.
your mouth first and let it
Well,
numb it.
exactly. But once you've already had 8 whiskeys, and you just start drinking it, dude.
Yeah, it's just nothing.
Yeah, it's like you're taking
Lose all the taste. It's just
big sips. Yeah.
but
Drink says Tyler, I'm not sure you should start your bachelor party pre-drinking now. Dude, what's the difference? I'm not getting drunk tonight. Um, you know, one tall boy beer and one whiskey pour, I'll be fine, dude.
yeah, and then I actually got, let me just show the restock and then I'll get on to the last dates I had got. But these are just some restocks of the Pro ones, Death Hatter Shads, and those weird colors. These are the colors that
Why
it's
do they
like
call them Pro Ones? What does that mean?
it's a collab between Pro ones and Depths.
Oh,
And
Pro
Pro ones,
Ones is a company.
yeah, it's a saltwater company that's in Japan. They make like a lot of saltwater baits, and so they wanted to do a collab with pretty much Depths and just do like their own colors. And so they look more like saltwater colors, but like I said, like this color here looks like a damn speckled trout color or
Yeah,
flounder, so or halibut really. And
right.
so, like I said, but this color here, I've been using this one here, and this one is like a clearish pink with like this big holographic flake in it, and it's been working pretty well in that flat back jig, the one that I was showing you that has like that pink color to it,
Yeah.
the Sakura shrimp one. And that one, I've been getting a good amount of bites on that one, and I used about 3 of the other ones on my last pack, so that's why I wanted to get some more of those. And then I saw this color and I was like, damn, that's a pretty nice color. And I just don't see that much, and or see people using that for like, gas or anything like that. So I was like, you know what? Let me try that, see if it ends up, giving me an extra bite or two. So, but it's a pretty unique color, and I really don't see that.
Definitely looks a little wild. Can you open it without ripping it?
Nah, not these ones.
Yeah, then
I,
don't then
I mean, it don't matter. I'm gonna use it anyway.
all right. Yeah, because I want to see. Is that a swim bait? Did it?
It's not really like I would say a full-time swim bait where you would want to like rig it on like EWG or anything, but it's a good like jig trailer, like a swim jig trailer or
Yeah, or just on a round ball jig or whatever.
yeah, it's nothing just I wouldn't rig it by itself, but the it's got like a
Oh, got a little more body to it than I would have thought.
yeah, it has a wide body on the top and then it comes down into like a point, but then it also is round on the bottom. So it has like this flat body, like if you can kind of look at it, but then it kind of comes to like a point. It's like sort of like an upside down U. Like it pretty much like that's how I would pretty much compare it to.
Well, it looks an awful lot like
Yeah, like the
the Jack
Yamamoto.
Rhythm.
Also would look like a sort of like the Yamaha hardtail grubs
Yeah,
swim baits, but
yeah,
just smaller.
yeah. But and it's got a much shorter tail section than this guy. You
Yeah,
know, this is the Jackal
very,
Rhythm
very
wave.
minute.
But yeah, interesting because I haven't noticed a bunch of other baits with that. Wow, yeah, that's pretty tight stuff.
Yeah, it has a very tight wobble to it. Like it's like very finessey, you would say. It doesn't have like a crazy thump to it. So it's very thin, And like I said, it's not really supposed to create like a crazy profile, and that's why I think it's pretty good on like a jig.
Yeah.
But like on the downfall on the jig when it's falling down, that tail will just like waggle on the way down, and it looks pretty nice. It's like a little fish going back, swimming down. And that's how I was catching the couple fish I caught on it was doing that in current.
Wonder how that would do on either a free rig or a Tokyo rig.
But then I was thinking that would be like a good like punching bait or something, like it would just go right through, boom.
Yeah.
But then have that little tail wagging.
Right.
So
yeah, because a Tokyo rig,
that's it.
Work a handful of different ways. So, not only do you have it as the option to use it as like a punching bait, but then you can also just straight swim it along the bottom, right?
Yeah.
But again, then you're using either an EWG or like a worm style hook.
That's the only issue.
Not necessarily ideal there.
And since it doesn't really have like a hook slot or anything like that on it, so it's like it seems like it really is strictly like meant for like a swim jig or a jig or like you said a little ball head or something.
So Tim makes a good point, and I wonder, do you think that collaboration affected the density of the plastic? Do you have the original version?
These are actually softer. I don't know why.
What?
Yeah, they're softer. They tear a lot more easier. That literally it was like a 1 or 2 fish thing with those baits. Like I wasn't catching like 2 fish on it. It was like they were tearing very easily. And then these ones here, the smaller spiny crawls. This color is a sick color, but this one here, they're very fragile too, and they have a different scent than the depths baits that they originally come with. Yeah, holy fuck. And so
do they still have the same name? Like, is that the spiny craw and the Death Adder shad?
Yeah, they're still the original baits. They're not any different. Just the plastic seems to be a little bit more softer overall. But
interesting.
This is the smaller 3-inch. I wish they made a 4-inch size in this color, but they don't.
And, but it's that reminds me a lot of like the Heights Hot Craw jackhammer. I'm a huge fan of the Falcon Lake Craw from.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yep.
That red and green mix.
Yeah, that's a sick color.
Yeah.
I actually forget that. This might be the one I might get for chatterbait wise.
Yeah.
But these here are actually a new bait that I wanted to get, and I saw them and I was like, holy shit, those look cool. And like I said, they're new. I have not tried these yet or even seen them until this weekend. But these are the Jesus. And these are the I don't even know how to say Namakuji worm. And they're literally a depth scat sort of type of worm, but in a different type of profile. So I'll get them out for you. And so these here, they have a they're very dense. Like literally, this is what made my damn package feel like it was like 5 pounds. It was weird. And I was like, what the hell? And so they're very, very dense.
Yeah, it looks heavy.
And so and you could feel the salt like literally on the outside. It's crazy. And they feel hard. And so it's supposed to have like a minnow sort of profile, but it still had that depth sort of scat sort of flotation in it. And so there's 2 little backtails. They'll have a little bit of a flutter. But the whole point of it is it stays horizontal with these wings that are on the side. Has these little.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
On the tail section.
Yeah. So right here.
Back half of the body. Yeah.
Yeah. These are like fins that stick out, and so that helps keep the bait like horizontal as it's falling. And then this right here will kind of like flutter behind it as it's falling. And so, like I said, it feels very weird. The plastic. It's very interesting actually. It feels very weird. I didn't actually touch them yet, but they're very dense, and it smells like what's this called? The kasumi worms. Interesting. Yeah, it smells just like the kasumi worms.
Does
And
it smell like green pumpkin? Does it smell
nah,
like
it ain't the
asparagus?
not the green
Smell like
pumpkin.
something from the garden?
Nah, a little bit of dirt. And so, I gotta have to give you one of those too, because I'm telling you, you're gonna say the same thing. But like I said, and then also there's this little ridge on it. I'm not sure if you can tell, but in the package it comes with something that protects it. So I'm assuming that it's important to the bait. But that little ridge on the back, if you're looking at
Yeah.
it right there,
That little nubbin. What is that?
yeah, I think that's what catches the water as it's falling, and then it allows the bait to kind of grab the water and flutter this back here.
Huh.
So it has to do something because, like I said, it has this little plastic. Here it is, right here. See, and it keeps this part from
Oh,
being flattened.
right.
So
It doesn't smash that little
yeah,
knot.
exactly. So I'm wondering that's what it has to. It has to do something. So, and like I said, this plastic feels very weird. I've never felt this type of plastic before. It's like dense, but then it's like soft. It's weird. Huh. This is gonna be interesting to test, but they're very heavy. Let me see how much this one bait weighs. Let me see. I wish it was like Berkeley where they told you how much each bait weighs.
You got a scale there? I'm
Yeah.
gonna guess. I'm gonna guess 5/8, almost three quarters of an ounce.
How much in grams would you say?
20 grams.
It's 18.9.
Okay. So
Close.
that's more like 5/8. Yeah.
Close, yeah. But this is only a 3.7 inch bait.
I
So
know. That's insane.
that's pretty dense. But
Really deep belly.
yeah,
John says looks like a mini humpback whale.
it does, yeah. In a way it does, yeah. I never thought of that. It does.
Just the taper of the body.
It
It's so
does.
fat in the midsection. Yeah.
Literally looks like a whale about to come up to the damn water.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, and like I said, I thought of it too as like something to put like on a jig or something, like and then have that tail just in the back coming down like on the fall, or make it like a heavy like punching type of jig by having this extra weight on that jig. And then
Yeah.
it's like a heavy cover jig, but with this extra dense plastic on there. Because that's what I've been doing with that Nori's Escape Twin that I have, and with that flat back jig that has a little bit of weight to it. But I've been doing that and bringing it through like a little bit heavier cover or grass, and then current as well. And it seems like I'm been getting pretty good bites on it that way. So this might be the same thing that I was thinking, that use it for the grass and it would help punch it or get it into the grass a little bit better with the jig. So, but I'm definitely going to try it out and see two different ways to see regular EWG style, which is where it's supposed to be used as a free rig style bait, and or a weightless type of bait. And so, and that would be interesting to see because, like I said, it's something a little bit different from the depths, but it's still the same, pretty much technique or type of purpose you're using it for.
Yeah,
So,
pretty much same category of
yeah,
really meant to just be like a mostly dead sticking or super slow moving poo profile bait.
I said is if you jerk it, it jerks like a fluke. So
Yeah.
it's gonna. I think it will have a pretty good action to it. And since that profile sort of looks like a minnow in a way, I think that will get some better bites. Sometimes maybe that if the fish aren't really, if they really are paying attention to like the profile, that scat, it does look like a piece of turd, but
Looks like a whole lot of nothing.
Yeah. So maybe that little bit of added action will allow it to get a little better. But there's a different colors. There's I think it's a bluegill color. Oh, yeah, it doesn't say, but I'm pretty sure this is the dark bluegill or something like that. It's like a blue with
Namakuji. Now, how the hell do you find some of these baits, dude? Because
this was on the hookup.
No, I get that they carry it, but how are you finding that bait? Are they actually talking about it on their YouTube video, or are you just like,
Nah, I just do research on whatever it is. I'll just like look up or say whatever they're, talking about. I'll look it up for a little bit or do a little bit of research or
Yeah.
maybe just in general by the way they're talking about the bait and it sounds like something I've been interested in or been looking for. Sometimes I'll go and just, say, screw it, let me just try it and take a gamble. But
Right.
most of the time on the baits or stuff that I buy, I do a lot of research, sometimes like a lot, where I'm just trying to see like, if people have success on it, or maybe ask people, hey, have you ever used this or have you ever seen that? But if it's a new bait or something and it's just brand new and I never really heard of it or nobody's heard of it, I'll just take the gamble and say, hey, let me get just 2 packs of it and let me try it. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
That's how sometimes I do it. I'm just
Totally.
really, like I said, interested into, new baits and new, techniques, or just really just finding out new stuff that I can use that gives me like an extra edge, really, or just that's what I feel like. But like I
Yeah.
said, I've gone on the bank and fished plenty of times where I'm fishing on the bank, and I'm not the best fisherman in the world, or know everything there is to fishing, but literally I've caught sometimes where there's guys around me and they're not catching anything. And that's what happened to me the other day when I was fishing. There was some kids there, and literally I was fishing and I came out of nowhere, came up to the bank, literally put my stuff down, threw my crank, and literally within a couple minutes caught a fish. Then switched to my jig, went down into a different angle, threw it along the bank, caught another fish, and the kids were like, "What the hell's going on?" And they were like, "Oh, how are you doing that?" And I was like, "Dude, if I'm here explaining it," I was like, "You have a jig?" And he was like, "No." And I was like, "Damn it." And I
You're
was
like,
like,
just keep doing what you're doing.
"Yeah." So
I'm
then I
not
came and I
sharing my stuff.
wasn't catching fish there. And then I moved to another section that's literally 15 feet away and used a flat side and just was going real slow since the water, like, yeah, it cooled down really weird. It was like 2 days of really cold weather we had here last week, and it cooled the water down. Like the top surface of the water was cold. It was very weird. Even the fish, when I grabbed them and touched them, they were cold. And I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. And the tide that was coming in from the high tide was hot as hell. And so,
Weird.
yeah, I think what it was is that area that I fish at is like a reservoir. So the rain that came in pretty much got held in there and it cooled the water down pretty quickly, and then that water that's coming from the inside or incoming tide is pretty much warming that water back up.
Yeah.
So that's why I think caused the fish to act that way, where they were pretty much at the bottom, and that's what I was noticing, that I had to work my cranks at the bottom, grinding them, and then also the jig was at the bottom. And like I said, the kids were like, wondering how the hell I was catching the fish, and I was like, I'm not sure if it's just that I'm using the baits the right way or know where to use them, or if it's just the baits itself that are helping me get that extra edge. Who knows? But that's what I'm saying. That literally, that's what it makes me feel like, that I'm getting an extra edge, or maybe it's just the baits that I'm using or helping me get those extra fish. Because like I said, I'm not the damn best fisherman. I just use the baits the way I like to use them and hope for the best. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just,
But there's also, I mean, you do have to give yourself a little bit of credit that over time you come to understand a body of water and its intricacies better and better, right? Like you know where you want to go when you're moving from spot to spot. You're
yeah,
not literally moving 5 feet down, 5 feet down, and just covering a massive stretch. You know, like, okay, this is the deal. I'm gonna cast here, I'm gonna cast here, then maybe a quick little couple fan casts, and then I'm moving on to this next spot. Like, it's entirely possible that those kids had no idea where to be, let alone what to throw.
yeah,
So sometimes it's that you're dealing with people whose knowledge is so extremely limited that it's almost like, well, where should we start? Um, how much do you really know what you're talking about? Because I encounter a lot of people like that are just throwing way out there type of stuff. Like when I was out with my friends last week in on that camping trip, right? We were gone all week, and like, have I been on since then or no?
No, it was like a week and a half ago, I think, since you left to your trip.
Yeah, I just got back on Sunday, on
Yeah, yeah.
Father or on Saturday, the day before Father's Day, and so we're down in like middle of nowhere, Colorado, almost New Mexico, and there were a couple of fishing spots there. Of course, it's all trout and stuff. So fine, I bring my ultralight rods and all my trout gear that is spinning stuff, not fly fishing stuff, because we're going to lakes instead of rivers, creeks, and our friends, the guy is more or less into fishing, and then their son, who's 10 years old,
Yeah.
he caught a couple fish and like immediately it's like the light bulb went off, and he got like freakishly into it, like really wanted to go fishing like every day, and which was super cool to see. But
Yeah.
then he's just throwing what his dad rigs up for him, right? And so he's throwing, power bait dough and stuff like that. And then on the last day, he's begging us to go fishing. So his dad looks up and sees that one of the lakes we had gone to had gotten stocked the day after we went there. And we whacked on them when we were there. Like,
Oh no.
so it was like, holy shit, like, that could be crazy. We could catch a million fish. And then he starts looking into it and is like, oh, but there's another lake a little bit further that we could go to, and they're supposed to have brown trout in there as well as cutthroat. Like, let's go there. That could be super cool. I was like, fine. And we get there, and he has to tell his kid, like, oh, sorry, buddy, there's this is, fly and lure only fishing.
Oh
You can't
no.
throw your power bait. And this kid, Charlie's like, what? What am I supposed to do, Dad? And his dad's like, oh, don't worry about it. And so he literally keeps the same rig with the slip bobber that's like 6 feet from the hook.
Yeah.
So it's impossible to cast this thing because
it's so long.
it's touching the ground. And
Ah,
so he's like just hurling it, and it's going nowhere,
10
right?
feet.
And he leaves the bobber on and ties an inline spinner on behind it. And meanwhile, this kid is he casts it basically nowhere. So it's like 10 feet off the bank. And then he's letting it sit on the bottom in the grass. And then he just leaves him there, and he's off fishing himself. And so, I catch fish.
It's like live baiting a inline spinner.
Yeah, it was so embarrassing. So I catch a couple fish on, the Dynamic Lures HD Trout. I talk about that bait kind of a lot. It just absolutely destroys trout in still bodies of water, and they're not getting a single bite. So after a little while, I go up to the kid and I'm like, hey, like, do you want to try one of my lures? He's like, yeah, sure. So he does, but casting distance is horrible. So all of a sudden we just we scrap it back to like level 1. His dad's not paying attention, so I'm like, whatever. I've
Game of float and fly.
been bonding with them for the last 4 or 5 days. Like, it's fine. I'm just gonna be the fatherly figure for a few minutes. I'm cutting this bobber off, dude, and we're tying direct to a lure, and we need to teach you how to cast. And he's probably got 12-pound line on there, and it's a push button spin cast rod. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be a little challenging, but you can't just like turn your whole body and then just use your arms to hurl. Like, square up your shoulders, son. We're gonna use our wrist here and flick it, all right? And he's like struggling so hard with it, and then I have to teach him how to like straight retrieve a bait. All this stuff, just because like it was so foreign to him. But that's an extreme example of something similar I encountered just like 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
where I'm on a dock catching a couple fish, and this kid is interested. He's probably like 14 or 15 years old, but he's got like his grandpa's tackle box or something. It's like, trays go up and everything. It's a legit
I
tackle
had
box.
one of those come to me.
And in every layer, he's got just random stuff. He's got tons of like big Carolina rig weights. He's got hooks all over the place, random soft plastics, inline spinners, like a crankbait here and there. And I'm just like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? Like, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, take some of these and use these. Like, I don't even want to look at what you've got there because I'm confused
yourself.
Yeah. Like, not only are you confused, but I get confused looking at what you're working with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there like that just don't even know where to start,
Yeah. There's someone that a friend of my mom's that she wants, like, he has like a little kid, and he's like really getting into fishing and stuff like that, and she wants me like to help him out and teach him and stuff like that. So because like his dad really doesn't know anything about fishing. So, and since I've been fishing for a long time and my mom always sees me fishing, I posted stuff online. So she's like, oh, can you insisting, not even asking me. And I'm like, what the hell? And I'm like, dude, who made this plan? And
Right.
and she's like, oh, he's just a little kid. You can help him out and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God.
Like, I could, but I won't.
Yeah.
If I ran into him, maybe I would, but it's not your place to just volunteer that.
Yeah.
My mother-in-law does the same thing all the time, and just did that to us with something else. I don't even remember what it was, but it was just the other day. And so my wife's bitching about it because her mom just like gave my wife's number to a stranger that she met. It was like, oh yeah, like totally, yeah, you should talk to my daughter. And like, Juliana was like, I don't want to. No, I don't know this person. Why would I do that?
Yeah. Yeah, you never know, man. You can't trust everyone, man.
Yeah. Anyway, what else you got in that package? We're rolling on 2 hours and 12 minutes.
That was actually it. That was the last bit.
What do you know?
Yeah, perfectly.
Good deal.
But, yeah, I don't think I actually showed you this part though, which I did show everybody else. I wanted to show you this, that Live X that I got, the shape of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The actual the body of it, the Rooms bait has a very similar. Let me get my hand out of that. So if you look at the actual body shape, it has that same. Damn it! Let me move my hand. It's hard to get the.
You're about to get hooked.
No, I'm not. And so, like I said, that body shape on the back has that same arch and body. Like, it's hard to.
Yeah, the belly's definitely.
Yeah, the belly on that back part right here. Like if you align it, it has that same back part belly. And I think the head is obviously just going to be bigger because it's a balsa bait. I don't think they.
Yeah. So the shoulders look much bigger on that Rooms bait, but
yeah,
you're right that the baits do have a somewhat similar
shape
profile to them.
Yeah. And then I was like, damn. So I'm wondering if the wobble is going to be that same, where it's going to have that kind of wide wobble, but then roll like crazy, and it just looks like literally it looks like a live fish just swimming all erratically. And so that's why I was like, interesting. And then it has that long bill, which is very similar in a way, but just in a different angle. So I was like, that's interesting. So
that Rooms bait is much fatter at the head though.
Oh yeah, way fatter. It's way fatter. It's like a look like an eel head, really.
Yeah.
And then it goes to like a minnow body. It's weird. And that's what I think gives it that weird kind of crazy wobble to it. It literally like this whole thing will go like this, and then it wobbles at the same time. It's very interesting.
Hmm.
Expensive, like I said, I would not recommend anybody buy this to go and spend the $50 on this damn bait. But like I
It
said,
was $50, dude.
yeah, I got this because it was on sale with the that damn thing they had at the Hookup Tackle. I forget what it was, the Memorial Day sale. So
Yeah.
it's like $40. So yeah, this is like $50. This one bait without being on sale. And then they're like Big Bud bait, which is like pretty much this damn thing, but just in a damn giant different version with a circuit board back on it, so it doesn't get all clacked up, which is really what it was for. Theirs is like $80. You can buy this old bait for less,
Right.
and this is the original one. So I don't know. It really made no sense, but it is made out of wood, but still, like,
Sure.
and in the shape and everything in the uh, kind of like features of that other bait was a lot more detailed. It had like a unique face to it that was like carved in and all that.
Yeah.
This is just looks like a damn beer bottle, but with a lip. So,
Yeah.
but
Well, obviously that's intentional, but
yeah,
I've noticed just exploring around, whether it's on Ichiban or on the Hookup, um, it like there are a lot of JDM manufacturers that make baits in that category.
yeah.
Why, dude?
It's because they like
Bait.
the
Like they take a bait and then they chop off 40% of the butt
yeah,
and it's just squared off. It's just like a front half of a bait, and then they just screw in a blade and call it a day. What is that?
yeah. And like I said, I think they really like the head and Big Bud a lot. This bait specifically, and you see a lot of collectors in Japan. They have these, and they'll have different ones, and then they even have ones that are from Japan in this brand, and they're actually tuned by Megabass, and so they're the head and Big Bud Megabass tuned version, and they come in like a special box. And,
Yeah,
but they're literally tuned by Megabass, but it's like a collab between Head and Megabass. And
an
those ones,
interesting and slightly unlikely collaboration. That's
yeah,
cool.
it's weird, yeah, and you would not think that. And so, and like I said, this blade on the back, it just hits on the edges of the bait, and so
Right.
that gives it like that clack. But I noticed that this is not really a wake bait in really all sense. It's not really completely made to be a wake bait. It's actually a crankbait that just has a blade on the back. And if you think of it like that way, you'll actually realize it's pretty different. And there's another bait that I had that's actually a micro version of it, and I caught like that giant snakehead that was on my Instagram, and it's like a little mini version of this. And also I caught like a whole bunch of other like little small bass as well on it, and they were hitting it like crazy. And I was like, damn, how the hell is this little bait catching all these fish? And I was pretty surprised. And the hook on that little bait, it's called a J Boy from INX label. That's what it's called, and it's on the Hookup Tackle. But it's pretty much just a mini version of this, and then that's how I found out that this bait is meant to be used more like a crankbait and not just a wake bait, because that's how I was using this, was like a wake bait, and I
Okay.
wasn't really getting as much bites. So now I'm gonna try this and use it as a crankbait and let it just hunt all over the place, because that's what it does. It literally just will go straight and then hunt to the side and then come back and then go back into the center. And then
Right.
also when you're grinding it on rocks, this thing just looks nuts. It literally goes back and forth like wide. And so
Now, do you I would assume that's because of the blade on the back. And now when
yeah,
you're cranking it underwater, do you think the blade is contacting the back of the bait as much as if you're waking the bait, where it almost is forced to
well,
smack?
yeah, when it's on top, you're definitely getting that clunk, 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 clunk noise. But when you're
Right.
under the water, I think that it's so turbulent that it's causing that blade not even the chance to get to there, and it's just like going so fast that where it's just like the water's pulling on at the same time and just like wanting to twist the bait.
Right. It's wanting to make it be erratic and
Yeah.
pull in different directions.
Yeah, because the blade has nowhere to go really, because on top of the water, it's clacking like this back and forth. And
Yep.
so when it's down going in the water, it gets forced and it can't really go side to side anymore. It kind of just gets stuck. So it will just get locked. And I think that's what causes it to end up, wandering to the side or the right,
Yeah.
out of nowhere. Because like I said, I'll be cranking it and it'll come in straight if you go slow. But as soon as you go above speed, it'll just start to like wander around and go whatever way it wants to go. So it's sort of like that, like the original kind of like the waddle bat in a way.
I was just gonna say the thing that bait reminds me of most that is literally in my cart at Ichiban right now. I've got 6 tabs open at Ichiban and about $150 worth of stuff. Um,
It's
is
nice, man.
is the Imakatsu Waddle Buggy.
Hmm.
It is a frog shaped hard plastic bait.
Sounds like a damn the Megabats one.
Right, the gong.
No. There's actually a frog one that they made that was similar. It's like a Griffin Zero, but in a pretty much frog body. It's called a Frog X, I think. And it's a hard
Okay.
plastic wake bait. That's a frog.
Right.
John actually showed it to me in the chat.
Yeah. Well, the waddle. Did I say buggy or bug? This guy is. I mean,
Waddle
shoot,
bug.
I'll pull it up for you guys. Why not? I don't want to reveal everything that's in my cart because then you guys will steal it. Let's see how I can share here.
But there's actually a bunch of different models too of this damn big bud. Like they have like the different year models. I think this is from like 89 to like 90. It's like the ones that are like just before the original one, because the original one is a little bit different, and the way you can tell is by the writing on that the beer can.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, dude, it looks almost just like the damn Frog X, but without the legs and with blades.
Yeah. So the blades, I think, are the big difference maker here.
Huh.
Obviously. And most of these are sold out. So like I'm looking at getting this straight black, which
Yeah.
there's 2 in stock, you a-holes. There's 11 of you in here. Don't you go buy this right now. The shipping's too expensive. You don't want this. But see how it's chopped off in the back.
Yeah. And then that blade, 2 blades on it, just like the little J Boy crank, the one I was talking about. It's like a mini Big Bud. It literally has the same sort of blades, but just mini.
Yeah, and you can see it's got this realistic frog profile with the legs and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that chopped off ass with the blade hanging from the back.
Yeah.
That really just got me thinking, and that I noticed that a lot of companies do. It's not just these couple. There's a lot of companies that make that style bait.
Well, and then you got the bull tank with the blade on the back, the jitterbug.
Yeah.
And so that has
that thing. What is that lure made of, dude?
this is brass, but the lure is plastic, and then it has that.
No way, that's plastic. That sounds like it's rock or something. Wow.
Yeah, it's loud.
What is that called?
This is the Raid Bull Tank. And this one's a very hard color to find. It's like a mouse. It's called I think Drowned Mouse. They have it on Ichiban. This is where I got it from.
What a huge mouth that is.
Yeah, that thing's massive.
Good God.
And then it has those holes to even help create less drag and also create some bubbles as it's going through. But yeah, it definitely makes a lot of noise.
That's wild.
Yeah, and then that blade will hit, clanking back and forth, and depends on like pretty much what you want.
Yeah.
But it's definitely loud, man. And then, there's tons of damn baits I got that have like that similar concept where it has, the blade, and there's that Nori's Fuka bait with the blade on the back, on the end. Well, it's on the back end, but it's pretty much like the damn Teco good pecker, but
Right.
that's
But
what,
there's that joint there.
yeah. And so it'll clank pretty much, but the point is to not hit the blade on the body. That's what it tells you to do. It says you have to work it to where the blade is just swinging freely, but not hitting the body. You do not want it to hit the body.
Why? Will it damage it or what?
No, they just say that that's the way it's meant to be used. It's more of like an eye style bait, but just where the blade is kind of fluttering back and forth on the bottom. So it's more like an enticing sort of thing. It'll just spin, hitting back and forth, go like this. But you don't want it to where you're going so fast that the blade hits the body.
I see.
So, and I'm thinking that's maybe what you want for the good pecker too. And maybe that's why some people don't have as much success on it, because they're usually, winding a lot quicker. And maybe I'm thinking that, you just don't want that. You want it just to be a silent bait to where it just has that shine and it just a profile bobbing up and down in the water. Because that's what that does too, is that as it's going back and forth, rocking, it causes the bait to bounce on the water. And that causes it's called like lateral vibration. So the vibration travels up and down, or horizontal, vertical. Sorry.
Vertically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that vibration will travel vertically and travel downwards more further into the water versus just having a walking bait or whatever it is. So it's a very interesting like concept of what they do that, but it really has no action. It's just a damn dart.
Now you put tracers on top of that?
Yeah. And then, like I said, it has a very weird paint job too. It's like a splattered look to it,
Yeah, that's cool.
like a bullfrog.
So slightly off topic, but the reason that I brought up the Waddle Buggy, the reason that I even considered making a purchase from Ichiban, and I'm not definitely going to, after just making a purchase or two from the hookup,
Yeah.
is noticing that the Waddle Bats, this is like one of the few baits that is like really on my radar, for two reasons. It's shallow diving depth of being a true like 1 to 2 foot diver.
Yeah.
This is a barely subsurface bait, which really gets my attention. A lot of shallow diving crankbaits go more like that, 1 to 3, 2 to 4 foot. And I'd love to have something that's not going to wake necessarily. I mean, it could if you work it slowly, but
Yeah.
it's meant to be cranked subsurface, but barely subsurface.
Yeah.
And then it's also super erratic and has that unique hunting action because of the blades on the back of it.
I noticed the faster you retrieve it, the more wild it gets.
Yeah, and I'm interested in that. So it's like, ever since, I mean, Epic Eric has talked about it a million times by now, but like one of the first times that he brought it up, probably a year and a half or 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, that sounds interesting. And like I looked it up and was like, it's also definitely out there, and I don't throw super shallow diving crankbaits that much.
At first I was skeptical.
And then like I got more into wake baits, and then I like got more confident with shallow diving crankbaits, and now I'm like bridging that gap, and I'm like, I need it. And it's hard to find. It's rarely in stock anywhere, right?
And then the wood ones are hard to find too.
Yeah. So like the Hookup doesn't have them in stock pretty much ever. Carolina Fishing Tackle neither. Ichiban did a while ago, and then they haven't, and now they've got like a couple, and I'm like, ooh, should I make a purchase? Now I'm browsing the whole damn website, and I've got like 20 things in my cart that I don't need, just because I've got a problem.
Got a problem.
It is a problem. So I've got some Waddle Bats and Waddle Buggies and the Griffin Zeros and the Daiwa version of that same bait. They call it the Bass Hunter. There's some weird looking baits, dude. It's like the Griffin Zero does kind of look like a frog, even though it's not the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
The Griffin Zero itself has a little bit of a frog-like
Face,
shape,
yeah.
or eyes and face. Like, especially if you look at one of these color patterns,
the bullfrog color.
Like, let me pull this up. It looks a little froggy. The face.
That's what I was saying. And then they have another color. It's like a bullfrog color, man. And I swear, I wish they would bring that color back. It's sick. I was talking that with John, and he was showing me the one that he was talking about, the Type X, and that one looks pretty sick in that color.
There's so many colors.
That's the one. There it is, the bullfrog color.
Where did you see that? Where?
Right there.
What? This?
Yeah, that's it. But that's the light version. It's the one I'm talking about. It's like darker. But they call that a moth. I don't know why. I hate that. The one I'm talking about is darker. Oh, they have a red head.
Guy.
Yeah, there it is.
This guy.
Whew.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. So, yeah, quick little preview of what's in my cart. Waddle Bats, Waddle Bats, Waddle Bats, Waddle Bats, Waddle Buggy.
Did you get the wood one? Is that the wood one?
Yeah, maybe not.
What is that? Bass Hunter? What the hell is that?
It's the big bats in the wood rattle. Yeah.
That's the one I got.
Some evergreen combat cranks.
That Bass Hunter looks pretty cool.
In the super shallow running version of the combat crank, like I hadn't even really seen these. And the cool thing about Ichiban is they sell these things
evergreen, right?
Used.
Yeah, so, that's what I like.
That's why this bait is $5.99, is because
they run brand new.
It's pre-owned, but this is an A rating, whereas this same color in a C rating is $2.99. Because this picture doesn't show this exact one, but it's probably all scratched up and messed up. So you get a range of prices from super cheap to.
Dude, I've even had some that are in the C category, and they were look like they were brand new.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So I've got mostly A's. Oh, that C is the one that I grabbed. $2.99.
Yeah, when you add it to your cart, it will show out of stock. It's like they saved it.
Right. Yeah, if it's the last one in stock
and
you grab it, then it shows out of stock.
Yep.
Griffin Zeros, and then
I see something.
Have you ever seen this Megabass?
I was about to say that.
XJ100, dude.
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the one that's on, I'm not going to say it because I was going to buy it and there's only one left.
Yeah, don't say it. Little Valley Hill glide bait.
Huh.
Yeah, one in stock. Gonna be gone. Because one of you dick faces is gonna buy it. Jackal Binksy. I've been wanting a Binksy. And the X Pod, I'm like, I'm interested, especially for the $11 that it costs. just because there aren't really a lot of top waters that have an adjustable bill like that, you know? Are you familiar with this bait?
Yeah. I've seen the the what is
The
it?
X-Pod.
G-Pod or X-Pod, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And one that has the mouth that opens up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's weird.
it's pretty.
And I'll probably pull it from my card if I pull anything. But, they show here in this interesting diagram just how
Many
the
different things.
different commands affect the water flow and therefore the action of the bait, which is pretty cool because then essentially you're getting like all these different baits in one.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. It's smart. They're hard to get over here for some reason.
And I don't know if I'll actually get this, but for $6, I didn't know that Berkeley, Japan made a popper that definitely looks different
Yeah.
than the bullet pop, right?
Yeah, I've seen this one a couple times. I think it was in some person's video. I'm not sure whose it was. But they look pretty good.
Yeah, because the bullet pop.
And they even have the Chapo JDM version. I
saw that. I like that the Chapo is extending. I was real tempted, and I might still get it this upcoming month from Discount Tackle. They've got the saltwater Chapo now.
Yeah.
And they make it in this wicked pink color. And kind of a little bit tempted. Pink Chapo. I don't know.
That'd be cool for some smallmouth.
Yeah. Anyway, we've been on a while. It's midnight here, 2 your time. It's Thursday night. Somehow, the second we started talking about the poo baits, like our viewers went from like 15 to 7 in like a few minutes. I was like, I don't know, maybe it's late, or maybe people just don't want to hear about scat baits. When you were showing that humpback whale bait.
Yeah.
But now there's more people in here. So guys, hit that thumbs up button. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna burn myself up real quick.
Gotta
And
disinfect the throat.
yeah, that's hot. So wish me luck this weekend. I might be fishing one day. I think we're doing a lake day on Saturday. Like nobody else is gonna have fishing stuff. We're pretty much just like, pleasure boating, but I'm gonna be fishing. I'd try and catch some lake trout or something. And then Sunday we're golfing. But tomorrow we're going gambling. We're going to a casino. And it's gonna be heavy drinking. So
what kind of casinos you got out there?
What's that?
What kind of casinos you got? Are they reservation type casinos or?
Yeah, so it's this town called Blackhawk that's about 30-45 minutes west of Denver, like almost on your way up to the mountains. But it's legit. It's like an actual town, and they've got like half a dozen or 10 different casinos and hotels attached to those casinos. We're just going literally gambling like from noon to 4 p.m. tomorrow. Like, yeah, we are going to hit the blackjack tables midday on a work day because that's what this dude wants to do. And then we're going to try and make the drive up early enough so that we can we're staying at this like mansion house in Granby, Colorado, and we're trying to get there in time to watch the Avalanche take the series, baby. Stanley Cup. It's going to happen. Last night was epic. The way that we won in overtime to go up 3-1. So this is what we were hoping for. Honestly, we were up 2-0 after the 2 home games to start out the series, and we thought we might just sweep them. Like, we're a way better team than Tampa Bay is. and then they smoked us in game 3. Right after I was like, oh, I kind of hope that we lose game 3 so that we have some bachelor party hockey to watch because that would be super fun. And then we got destroyed and we all got kind of nervous. But last night, it eked out a little overtime win, and we're getting what we want. We're all going to be fucked up tomorrow. So if I show up tomorrow night with a mistake,
Not
I'm
just tell you
just
to
like-
get off.
I'm just planting that seed right now so that somehow I'm going to show up at 10:30, not here tomorrow night. I'll just be like
Whoa!
in some. Yeah. It would not be pretty. So hopefully you don't see me. Tim, I will try not to get too out of hand, but doing it for my friend. And if the Avs win the Stanley Cup tomorrow, it's gonna get out of hand. So yeah.
But
I will plan on seeing you guys. My wife works Wednesday, Thursday of next week, and then we got the wedding next weekend. So I won't be on next weekend, but I should be on Wednesday to show you the baits that I picked up from the hookup. I mentioned a few of them tonight, but I also didn't mention a few of them. And maybe you guys should just go buy all the stuff that I just showed you from Ichiban so that it's not available anymore and I don't make that purchase. All right. But thank you guys for hanging out tonight. Thank you for joining, Matt. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And yeah, hit that thumbs up. Go over to Matt's channel. If you're not already subscribed, do that to both of our channels if somehow you're not. And we will plan on seeing you midweek next week. Have a great rest of your night and a good weekend, guys.
Alrighty, guys. See ya.
Peace.
Peace.